Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video, I'll be breaking into my top 10 Benny's vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. You can see I've got them all laid out in front of us. There's a lot of Benny's vehicles, and a heck of a lot of them have incredible upgrade options, are very fast, and just amazing to look at. So, let's get straight into it. Normally, a lot of top 10 lists are going to feature top speed and handling as the major reasons why they've ranked vehicles in the first and second places. And when it comes to this list, it's going to be more down to upgrades. I still am going to list the top speed, but I'm more going to be listing these vehicles in the order I think they look the best, because that's really what Benny's vehicles are all about. In the number 10 position, we have the Yosemite Rancher. This is the base Yosemite. It's just kind of a low down truck. There's nothing too crazy about it. I do like the look of it. I'm a big fan of old trucks. I mean, I own a 1983 Hilux in real life, so I like old vehicles. However, the Yosemite Rancher is just so dang cool. Not only does it remind me of my own Hilux, but it's just such a cool off-roader. First of all, it's actually really good at off-roading. It's got a lot of suspension, a lot of ground clearance, which means you can very easily go rock crawling and do a lot of the things a normal big heavy-duty off-roader can do. When it comes to this vehicle's top speed, it features 105.5 miles per hour. It's actually the slowest vehicle on the entire list today, but even though it's not very fast, to be fair, when it comes to the off-roads category, it's about smack dab in the middle for top speed, so actually not too bad at all. When it comes to the vehicle's base price, which is the Yosemite, it's going to cost you about $485,000, and then if you bring the Yosemite over to Benny's, it's going to cost you an additional $700,000 to turn it into this beast you're currently looking at. Overall, I definitely think this one's worth the money. It's one of my favorite looking Benny vehicles just because of all the upgrades and everything like that. It's just such a cool off-roader. So yeah, this one is easily gonna make today's video. Up next, we move on to the Weevil Custom. This here is the base Weevil, and it's actually still mind-boggling to me that this base car cost $870,000. I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous for a freaking Beetle. However, the BF Weevil Custom, now this thing is absolutely insane. The Weevil features an absolutely insane top speed of 137.5 miles per hour. It is actually the fastest vehicle on the entire list in today's video. Now, while it may feature an amazing top speed, it's not very good at turning. In fact, I'd be willing to say this is the worst handling car I've ever driven in GTA. It is terrible. So be wary with that top speed, because you are going to be struggling when rolling around corners. Overall looks, I think the vehicle looks amazing. It's a drag beast. It's just so cool on the upgrades. Look at the size of that wing I've got on the back of the vehicle. It's even tied down so it doesn't fly off. So it's an absolutely sick vehicle. Add that on to the fact it's also in the muscles class, so you can do some sick wheelies with it. And yeah, the BF Weevil is really, really dang cool. When it comes to the base car price, as I said, $870,000. And if you want to get this vehicle's upgrade, it's going to be an additional $980,000. This is actually one of the most expensive Benny's upgrades in the game, so yeah, do keep that in mind. But my guess is you're not getting the normal Weevil unless you want to get the upgraded version. In the number 8 position, we have a fan favorite and one vehicle I really like, the Sultan RS. We can see the base Sultan right here. It's a 4-door sports car. It's actually a really nice sports car. It's got good handling, and the fact that you can find it on the road for free, it's actually a really impressive vehicle. It's even all-wheel drive. However, the Sultan RS is an absolutely amazing supercar. It's not very fast, but it does feature good acceleration. It has a top speed of 117.25 miles per hour, which is okay, I guess. It would be a lot better, honestly, if Rockstar had just made this a souped-up sports car. It's a bit unfortunate that it does actually fit into the supers category, because it really just doesn't hold a candle to the rest of the supers class, but it actually has very good handling. It sounds amazing, and I mean, just look at this vehicle. All the lights work. It just looks amazing. Rockstar did such a good job on the liveries, the upgrades, everything about this vehicle. it just looks fantastic. And that's why, even though this vehicle doesn't feature the best handling or anything, it's still one of my favorite looking Benny's vehicles out there. It's so dang nice. Now, when it comes to upgrades, it's actually a pretty cheap vehicle, because you can find the normal Sultan on the roads, and even if you can't, it's only $12,000 to buy on Benny's website, so when it comes to purchasing the Sultan, that's not a problem. The upgrade for the vehicle, it's not cheap. It's $800,000, so you're going to be spending a pretty penny when it comes to this vehicle's upgrade. But that does make sense because of how cheap the base vehicle is. I think it's definitely worth the price, though. In the number 7 position, we have the Banshee 900R. We can see the base Banshee right in front of us. It's a pretty stock standard looking Viper. I think it looks nice, but there's nothing all too crazy about it, and it doesn't really have that many good upgrade options. Now, I should point out that if you're on next generation console, you can obviously get HSW Banshee, which is even faster than the 900R, but it's not going to look as good as the 900R. That's a fact. The Banshee 900R is one of the best looking supers in the game. It just looks so nice. It's got such wide body panels, the fenders, everything looks great on the vehicle. It's got crazy good livery options, and it just looks amazing. The Banshee 900R is such a good-looking car, and it does not disappoint in speed either. It goes at a top speed of 131 miles per hour. Back in the day, this used to be one of the fastest vehicles available in the game, only beaten out by the Pfister 811. So it was a pretty crazy vehicle originally. Unfortunately, Rockstar's added so many new vehicles and changed the pace of how the game is, but still, it's a really fun vehicle to drive and a really fun vehicle to look at, especially if you're bringing it to any car meets. Price tag wise, this is actually the cheapest Benny's vehicle, I think, in the list today. The base car upgrade is $126,000. That's just the normal Banshee to purchase. Then to turn the Banshee into the Banshee 900R, it's going to be $565,000. So it's going to cost you about $700,000 to get this vehicle upgraded. That is really cheap. I mean, this is one of the cheapest Benny's vehicles to get your hands on, and the fact that it's so dang fast, it's actually just a great deal in my eyes. So the Banshee 900R, super fun vehicle, super economical when it comes to the price, and crazy fast. In the number 6 position, we have the Obey 10F wide body. We can see the normal 10F versus the wide body. Personally, I actually think both look amazing. In fact, I might actually like the look of the 10F more, because I'm not always the biggest fan of extending a car's width if it already looks really good sleek, and I do have to say the normal 10F just looks really nice either way. So both of these vehicles look great. That's straight out of the bat. What's even better about the wide body is the top speed. It goes up from 126 to 128 miles per hour, and who doesn't love a really good top speed? However, I will say when it comes to price tag, oh boy, these are some expensive Benny's vehicles. The 10F itself is going to cost you $1.7 million, just about to get your hands on. That is pretty dang expensive. Add that on to the fact that it's going to be another $575,000 to get the Benny's upgrade for this vehicle, and yeah, the wide body is going to cost you around $2.3 million just to get your hands on. Add on the Benny's upgrades, and yeah, you'll probably be close to about $3 million on this vehicle at the end of upgrading it. So it's not a cheap vehicle to get your hands on. It's not like the Banshee 900R only sitting at $700 grand, but it is a heck of a lot faster because it is in the sports category rather than the supers category, and it's just a really fun car to drive, and it's also got really decent handling. So overall, the 10F wide body, very nice vehicle, and I gotta say, being able to look at that engine right through the back is just amazing. And the vehicle itself looks really nice. It's got some great customization, some great upgrades, so yeah, I've really got nothing bad to say about the vehicle. I still think it's worth the price. After the 10F, we arrive at one of my favorite vehicles in the entire game, the Comet Retro Custom. When Benny's vehicles first got introduced on the Xbox back in the day, this was my favorite Benny's vehicle by far, because not only was it a vehicle not a lot of other people picked out, but I'm just a huge fan of old Porsches, and this vehicle, it's just an amazing looking car, I have to say. It's one of my, if I could put this vehicle higher, I would, but I think the other vehicles are also just really high up on the list for me. But this is the normal Comet, and we can definitely see that there are some similarities between the two vehicles, from the fender arches on the side to the front design, but yeah, overall very similar designs. But man, does the Comet Retro Custom just look amazing. From the amazing spoiler options you can put on this vehicle, to the sound, to the overall look, Just such a nice vehicle. Now, the Comet Retro Custom isn't very fast. It only features a top speed of 121.25, which isn't bad for the sports category, but it's nothing insane either. When you got vehicles like the Pariah or even the 10F, which we just went over, can go up to 128, yeah, this vehicle is not incredible, but it does feature pretty good handling for what it's worth. It's actually got pretty good acceleration, so it's not actually too bad when it comes to the overall lap time in the sports category. The base vehicle is $100,000. You can find the Comet on the road. You can't keep it, but you can buy it for 100 grand. Although Rockstar actually removed the base Comet from the game, so to get your hands on this vehicle now, it's actually going to be quite hard, and keep your eyes out for it in any special area, because yeah, Rockstar's a bit of a smelly poo-poo when it comes to that. But $100,000 to get the base Comet. To get your hands on the upgrade for this vehicle, it's going to be $650,000. So it's pretty cheap. It's only about $750,000 to get your hands on this vehicle from start to finish, and I would easily say it's worth it. I mean, as I said, the vehicle just looks amazing. Like, sure, it's not going to be the best of getting you from point A to point B, but it's still going to get you there reasonably fast, and it's going to turn some heads and eyes when you're driving there. It's just such a cool looking vehicle, and there's so many different livery options and customizations you can do when it comes to this vehicle's paint job. I went with a super bright yellow, but you don't have to. You can go with red, you can go with blue. This vehicle just looks so good in so many different colors. But next we have a fan favorite, a vehicle that used to be literally the most popular car to see at any car meet, the Elegy Retro Custom. We have the base Elegy in front of us, which is actually an incredible car. I'd suggest to get both of these. First of all, because the Elegy is free, and yeah, that's really all why. The Elegy is just a super nice looking car. It's obviously based off the Nissan GTR. And then we've got the original Skyline GTR, which is the Retro Custom. An absolutely amazing looking vehicle. A lot of people like to put on the OG Fast and Furious skin. I don't. I think it's a little lame and cliche to do that, so I have a unique skin on it. I think the vehicle just looks amazing with this wine red on the front feature. It's just an amazing looking car. It really is. It's such a nice looking car. The Elegy Retro Custom features a top speed of 115.25, which isn't anything incredible, but it does have great acceleration and a fantastic amount of cornering. It's actually very good handling for overall the sports class, so you do have that going for you. Plus, the vehicle again just looks amazing. Some of the best upgrade options in the entirety of the game. When it comes to the LG Retro Custom's price tags, obviously the base car is free, so the only thing you're going to be spending a lot of money on is the upgrade, which is $900,000. To be fair, this is easily worth $900,000. I would buy 5 of these. I mean, it's such a good car. For the price tag, it's actually really cheap. A lot of people forget how cheap Benny's vehicles are. Like, they're not expensive at all. You know, a lot of the new vehicles in the game, like the Italia RSX is upwards of like 3.6 mil. You could buy like 4 fully upgraded Benny's vehicles instead of that. It's crazy how dang cheap they are. And yeah, easily, this is definitely one I would suggest to buy. In the number 3 slot, we have one of my favorite vehicles in the entirety of Grand Theft Auto Online, being the Gauntlet Classic Custom. This here is the base car. This is the Gauntlet. It's actually a really nice looking vehicle. It's got some great customization. It's actually a fun car. I'd suggest to pick up both of these, but the Gauntlet Classic Custom it's just amazing. First of all, it's based off one of my real life favorite dream cars, which is the Dodge Daytona. A lot of people are going to confuse this with the Plymouth Superbird, but it's not the Superbird because we can see that Rockstar clearly gave it the NASCAR racing liveries. So this is definitely based off the Dodge Daytona. And it's just amazing. First of all, it's got pop-up headlights. How can you go wrong with pop-up headlights? So that's the first thing. Looks amazing with them too. So pop-up headlights. Not only that, but this vehicle, it looks just freaking fantastic. The upgrade options, everything. The big ass weighing on the back. The vehicle just looks amazing when it comes to the upgradability and customization options. But even with that aside, it's also fast. To be honest, I think it should be faster. I think this should be one of the fastest cars in the game, due to the fact that in real life, this was one of the fastest cars ever to reach the NASCAR track, but still, it features a pretty decent top speed of 125.25 miles per hour, so it's pretty fast for especially the muscles category. Overall handling, though, not all too impressive. It's not going to be making all too many corners all too confidently. But it's still a great looking vehicle. It's a muscle car, which again means that you can do some epic wheelies if you really want to do that like this. Just such a good car. Now, if you want to get your hands on this vehicle, you're going to have to buy the base Gauntlet Custom, or Gauntlet Classic, which is going to be about $600,000. And then you're going to have to buy the upgrade, which is going to be about $815,000. Honestly, 1.4 mil for this vehicle, not expensive at all. I mean, this is a newer car added into GTA, and I would easily suggest to get your hands on this for 1.4 million. In the number 2 slot, we have the Nero Custom. This here is the base Nero, and as you can see, it looks very similar to the Custom. The only difference is that the Custom has a heck of a lot more upgrades. You got a big old wing you can put on the back of it. You've got some more livery options, so the Nero Custom is definitely where you should be going. And I gotta be real, the Nero Custom, it just looks amazing. I'm not always the biggest fan of Bugatti. Like the Adder, I'm not the biggest fan of, because it's kind of lame and not the prettiest looking car. But the Nero Custom is, I think, based off the Chiron, which is an amazing car in real life. And it lives up to it in GTA as well. For the longest time, this was one of the best supercars available in the game, right up next to the Elegy GTB Custom. This was like 4 or 5 years ago, way when I was younger. But it's still a really impressive supercar. It features good handling and a very good top speed of 127.25 miles per hour. So it's still got pretty good aspects of a supercar in the game even till today's date. Not only that, but it's a pretty decent price tag. It's only 1.4 mil to get the base car and about 600,000 to get the upgrade. So about $2 million for a very competitive supercar and one that has crazy good upgrades. Now, it's not cheap, to be fair. This is one of the few Benny's vehicles that is going to cost you around $2 million just to get your hands on, but I definitely think it's worth it. From the upgrades to the handling to everything, the Nero Custom, it's just such a good looking vehicle. I mean, you really just can't diss this car when you take a look at it. I always fall in love with this vehicle when I drive it. Unfortunately, it's a bit scratched up now, but still, absolutely amazing vehicle, especially for the handling and the upgrade options. Finally, we arrive at the number 1 position, which has been my all-time favorite car in Grand Theft Auto Online ever since it was released, the Elegy GTB Custom. The Elegy is, both of them are amazing looking cars. I liked the Elegy itself base when I first got it, but when I got the Custom, holy crap, it's just such a nice looking vehicle. The normal Elegy is around $1.2 million to get your hands on, and the Custom upgrade is going to be about $500,000, which isn't actually all that expensive, 1.7 mil for the supercar. It's very similar in top speed to the Nero at around 127 miles per hour, but it features a lot better grip than the Nero, especially when you're up at high speeds. It is super, super grippy. Overall, the vehicle, it just looks amazing. I mean, look at this thing. It is such a nice looking car. It looks amazing from the front, the sides, the rear. This is by far my favorite vehicle that Rockstar has ever designed and added into Grand Theft Auto Online. I would pay all of my life savings currently to get my hands on a vehicle that looked like this in real life, which there are some McLarens that look very similar. So, yeah, every time I see this car, I just fall in love with it. It's such a nice car, and it looks good with so many different colors: red, orange, yellow. McLarens just look good with so many different options. So the Elegy GTB Custom is such a nice car. Something I should add about all the Benny's vehicles is they have custom interiors. For example, you can read the actual speed you're going while driving a vehicle like this, so I can see that I'm currently going over 100 miles per hour. It's just really cool, Benny's vehicles in general. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you guys have a fan favorite out of the vehicles I've listed today. I really wanted to make today's video because of how much I enjoy all the Benny's cars. I think I'm going to make videos in the future showcasing upgrades and all the Benny's vehicles themselves, so if you'd like to see that, let me know. But I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.